Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 3 and our Queen Khalida campaign. At the end of the last episode, we had just defeated an army belonging to the Lioness outside of one of her cities. What I had not anticipated was the Lioness herself then walking into range of Rakash's forces. And so here we are, with the Lioness herself trapped, marching past one of our cities. Her army badly wounded, dehydrated by the desert, accosted by demons, and now at last the dead have risen to claim them. While this army of Bretonnians may once have been imposing, the desert sands and the sun, demons on all borders have weakened them. And so it is today that we march against a much depleted foe, ready to wash over them like the tides of a mighty river. She is tanky, but she has been unhorsed. The battle is won. And with that, Rakash has defeated Rapun's Lioness and her army. There will be nothing left of them. Though Rapun's may well return, taking her out right here is a huge blow to the hopes of her armies in the region. Not only does it give Rakash some extra bonuses and some extra items from winning the battle, but the threats to the north are somewhat limited. Meaning that now that Rapun's has gone down, there's very little standing between us and marching on her cities to eradicate her. Now, if I remember correctly, there isn't one city. Sorry, it's been a couple of days since I played, so I just wanted to double check that. Antok used to belong, or Plain of Tuskers used to belong to Volkmar. However, it does not at this juncture, which means that when we start the next turn, we should be able to get down to El Kalabad and eliminate Volkmar the Grim. At least that's the hope. So, we will put some things in unfading memory so that his Tomb Guard, should they reach a suitable level of veterancy, are rewarded. I think Khalida has yet to move this turn. She cannot reach El Kalabad. And I don't want to leave the Black Tower of Arkan undefended. So I think what I'm going to do is Rakash right now is going to march back into the Black Pyramid. And he will take on the responsibility of destroying El Kalabad. Butep has already moved. Perfect. Has his hero. Yep. He's struggling to catch up, but he'll catch up when they stop to besiege a settlement, if they ever do so. Jenna is still holding on to Kasabar for us here, and in a couple of turns that will be a lot easier for him to do. We have walls in Karak Storm that we can soon improve, and we have a mighty treasury. Yes, everything is looking up. The plan is to take everything here that would eliminate these two factions while guarding our border. The aim essentially being that if we can get rid of Volkmar, and then after Volkmar get rid of Rapunz, we have two very clear frontiers to fight on. We have Tzeentch, and should the lizards declare war on us, the lizards to the south, and Malagor and Skarbrand to the north. And we should be able to rack up a lot of this territory. Maybe even declaring war on Khemri and taking Cetra out. But we'll talk about that if and when it happens. We are primarily an infantry-based army, so the monument to Geheb is what we will put up. And taking a quick look, it seems like the dwarves want to take Sudenburg, which is a city, I think, beyond their army, especially with attrition. Well, the Tower of Aachen does now have a better garrison. And I think it could hold out against that particular army on its own. The one I'm worried about is Camille Mercier up there. We also have Kemri, which I think would hold against that army. It's pretty badly damaged, and the Springs of Eternal Life that I'm not so confident in my defense of. So we are going to march Futep down there. Keep him moving on this front. I really need Jenna's army to finish recruiting. Like, in 3 turns when this finishes recruiting, we will be in a really good spot. Rakash himself could come down and deal with this, but I am going to... I don't want to leave the Black Pyramid when there are threats around, because the Black Pyramid is so weak. Can we potentially reach the Tzeentchian army? We can. Okay, so we'll let the lesser human army here do that. And... this looks like a relatively easy auto-resolve. I'm just going to run into a lot of missiles if I play it. Surprise! I decided to play it anyway. We're still going to get shot to pieces, but we are going to give those Tzeentchian Muppets what for. I've set up in a fairly spread formation with a lot of our tankier stuff at the front to absorb some of the fire. And we are going to go ahead and start spirit leeching the enemy. We're going to try and get our Kemrian War Sphinxes in as far as possible. We've got the Ushabti up the front. And the hope is that if we can close into melee range nice and quickly, what's going to happen is that while they have lots of spells, while there's a lot they can do, if we just walk up on them like this, keeping this kind of staggered formation, that because they're demon units, once we're on top of them and they have 0 in the way of barrier or hope of winning, we're just going to run them over. That's the hope. We'll see if it happens. I mean, this fight in the middle looks absolutely favored to us, but... oh, one of the things I love about the game, and I know this is what everyone loves about the game, to be clear, in a lot of ways. I don't think anyone dislikes this. Is the spectacle. Just look at that giant Tzeentchian Lord fighting next to Rakash, you know? Like, how are these giant sphinxes and carved statues battling demons, slinging magic and wielding magical barriers? Like, how is this not something someone would enjoy, you know? I'm gonna stop trying to play the battle now without the overlay, but... like, it's just so spectacular to watch this, honestly. There isn't much in the way of tactics for this one, and I'm not going to pretend there was. I was a bit worried I'd lose more fighting it than auto-resolving, just because I would be walking into a hail of missile fire, but I think we negated that problem pretty well. Something that I just noticed, and I want to highlight, is look at the experience on these. Unit rank 8, 9, 9, 9. These were 3, but these were blue horrors. They're kind of expendable. You look at the pink horrors, they're all... so that was a huge amount of experience and strength in army that he simply is not going to be able to return. I'm going to take the money. I really want the Canopic Jars because I want the ability to recruit another army. Like, the more armies I can get on the field, the better, but I don't feel like it would make too much of a difference at this point. Alright, Rakash is going to go back because Futep is going to be in range to push this front in a moment. And I still can't get to that Sigmarite force there. I think I'm just going to hold for now in the Black Tower of Aachen. We're going to order some building upgrades, and next turn, when I've got a better idea of what Response is doing and how Tzeentch responded to the loss in this central area, we'll make some decisions about whether we commit Khalida straight to these, or if we go down to El Kalabad. At the end of the last turn, Volkmar the Grim reappeared. The Grand Theogenist himself near the Black Pyramid of Nagash. Rakash has run out to siege El Kalabad. That's going to be a nice and simple auto-resolve, and we are not going to make it any more difficult than it has to be. So we're going to occupy that. He gets the attack-minded trait, very nice, because we're going to be doing a lot of attacking. Rakash has then basically secured this border. Futep, having had his army merge together, is a turn away from Bagar. And I'm going to hold Khalida here. I'm going to need some of my armies to move together, I think, against the Bretonnians. At this point, we can't do it solo. So once Futep has taken Bagar, Jenna is going to move down to Antok, and we are going to essentially secure this province here that Tzeentch currently occupies. And here it is. It has unfortunately been a long time in coming, but the lizards have declared war on us. Okay, King Jenna's army is done recruiting. He is going to start force marching towards Antok. He's going to take some attrition damage because yay Tzeentch, and we're going to march him so that he can definitely get into range next turn. King Futep is going to move on Bagar. And there's no point in playing that one. Like, the 2 Hyro Titans would wipe out everything in that army by itself. It's only a level 1 Lord. So we're going to auto-resolve it and occupy. Meaning that next turn, we should be able to claim complete control of this province. Now, because this is likely to be my border against the lizards for a little while, both Bagar and Antok are going to have walls built up in them. I don't see any way around that. With that being done, we can summon the unique Necrotect. This was what I was planning on doing last episode and forgot. It's why we got rid of the Pools of Despair, so that we can come over here and immediately colonize it at level 3. Meaning, walls can go down instantly. We can start building up the infantry training. And yeah, we can put some growth in it, because that will help. In order to defend our newfound territory, Khalida is going to leave the Black Tower of Aachen, and Rakash is going to take her place. It's telling us that the Necrotect got killed. That's just the unique Necrotect that we summoned using the right there. He always dies at the end. Nothing to worry about. Now, Volkmar the Grim, if we just quickly check diplomacy, where is he? Has 0 settlements, which means that he is going to attack the Black Tower of Aachen next turn. This is why, instead of moving out to meet him, I sent Khalida up here and Rakash to the Black Tower of Aachen. It just means that not only can we have these two border cities defended for pushing onto the Bretonnian armies, but, you know, we're in position to defend our cities as well. Going to take a quick scan through our territories here. We can build something in the Devil's Backbone. We can upgrade Karag Rud, and we have the money for it. So we are going to do that. We're going to keep building up what we have everywhere so far. Is looking pretty good. Oh, Volkmar moved up to attack Rakash. Okay, this is neither a sensible nor necessary fight. But I'm not going to risk our forces. I'm fighting it purely because Volkmar, he deserves the respect of being another legendary lord. Maybe he doesn't, but I like to wipe out legendary lords for the last time on the battlefield. It makes me think that I've, you know, given them due respect to their status and proven once and for all that we are the stronger of the legendary lords. So everything here that I haven't yet moved is our reinforcement army. It's our garrison from the city. And we're going to let them take the brunt of the fighting while our heavy hitters come in from behind. But we very much want the garrison to take the bulk of the arrow fire. We don't want to lose anything here. This is a formality. Rakash has boldly charged in. The infantry is coming up behind him. This should be a relatively straightforward fight. The catapults are firing overhead. And Khalida, the chosen of Asaph, has granted him the strength of their legions. And with that, Volkmar the Grim lies slain. Rakash has gained a title for defeating Volkmar, and he is going to stride out onto the battlefield and defeat the last Empire captain. And with the death of Eldred Biggins, the cult of Sigmar has been destroyed. And just in time, honestly. Because in this episode, while we have annihilated the cult of Sigmar, pushed back Rapunzel, there are two large threats. Rapunzel herself has these, I want to say, 4 stacked with a couple more armies that we are going to need to march on, doubling up perhaps on Rakash and Khalida. They're not necessarily good armies, but they're there. And Talakwa has declared war on us. We can't see any of their armies, but as surely as we have knocked Tzeentch down over here, he will have struggled elsewhere. He committed a lot of resources and found little success in the desert. And you can see that the territory that used to be his has already been reclaimed by the lizards. King Jenna, do you have your movement? He does. So, we will finish this episode by driving Tzeentch and the Tzeentchian Demon Prince out of Antok. And I will see you all next time for our continued battles to control the desert. Most likely against Rapunzel de Lyonesse herself.